Thank you for joining me. It's a long holiday weekend, and we're remembering our fallen soldiers and giving them thanks because they have given their absolute ultimate. And to everybody else, wish you a very happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. So this marks the beginning of the summer season, the warm weather, and I do love warm weather, so this is my time of year. Um, Also, May 23rd, happy Bermuda Day. My home away from home, my second home. So sending out love and giving shouts out to everybody there. I hope to see you again soon. And so this time of year, I tend to enjoy going to the pool, to the beach, doing outdoor dining, day trips, enjoying nature, things like that, just chilling. People watching in the park, well, that's a good one. So come on and rap with me, people. Tell me something that you like to do during warm weather or summer. Hit me up in the comments. And also, if you feel the notion, please go ahead and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So, I believe we left off where um, Marie had come home from the hospital with the baby, and she was just letting her little sister hold the baby for the first time. And let's see, so where do we leave off? So, we had made it home to my grandfather's house. Grandpa and Aunt Kate were waiting. They held the little bundle. Then Aunt Kate told me to go upstairs and lay down. By this time, my mama and Taz walked in the door. Mama, Aunt Kate, and I went upstairs so they could get me and the baby settled in and comfortable, while Taz sat on the sofa downstairs with Grandpa. I didn't know it then, but 2 hours later, when I woke up, I realized they were right. I had been more exhausted than I realized. I got up, looked out the window to see, yeah, you guessed it, more snow falling. When I went down the stairs, my grandpa was watching Monica sleep. Mike had made me a delicious sandwich to hold me over until dinner. The phone rang. Since I was the closest to it, I answered. It was a cousin calling to see how we were doing and to say some of them would be stopping by tomorrow to see us. And they did. The next day, we had a few visitors. None of them stayed too long, so we could get some rest in between the next group of visitors that would be coming. Well, time goes on, and it's 3 months later. I hated to leave my grandpa's house, but Mike and I moved to our little bungalow. It was cute and cozy. Taz said it reminded her of where the three bears lived. We had a large bedroom, enough room to put the baby's things in our bedroom without being cramped, another smaller bedroom that we'd move Monica into in a few months, a pretty large kitchen where we put our kitchen set, of course, a nice sized pantry, a living room, a porch, and, of course, a bathroom. When our baby turned 2 years old, I planned to get a job, even if it was part time. That way, it'll get me out the house and add a little money to our pockets. Mike thought also that was a good idea. But now we were the happy little family, at least for this week. Now let's hope it stayed this way. Mike was home most of the time and really helpful with everything. As my little sister said, we're like the three little bears in our little cave here. Oh, and by the way, this is the book I'm reading from. As time went on, Mike started spending less time home again. I spoke with him about it a few times, and things got better for a few days. Then he went back to coming in all times of the morning. This one day, my mother and Taz were over visiting me and Monica. We hardly had any food, so my mother and Taz went to the corner store to get some food for us, mainly for the baby. She had started eating baby food and she loved mashed potatoes, so I gave her mashed potatoes often. Anyway, my mother and sister were at the store, the corner store, and Taz saw my husband in the store with some white woman hanging on him. She tapped my mother and told her to look over there. There's Mike with that woman, she said to Mama. My mother went over to them and told him, I'm here at this store buying food because your baby is home hungry. Then she told the white woman she better leave him alone before somebody beat her ass. The white chick didn't say a word. She stepped back like she was surprised and scared. Meanwhile, my mother always told me if you see your man someplace or doing something that he shouldn't be doing, make sure you go over and touch him. Lay your hand on him because that way he can't say it wasn't him. Anyway, um, and where do we leave off? So Mike didn't say anything to my mother. She'd have put him in his place if he had talked some trash to her. Mama and Taz came right back with some food and told me what had gone on at the store. Mike didn't come right behind them. He must have taken that bitch home first. About 30 minutes, 35 minutes later, he came home. As soon as he stepped in the door, I demanded to know, what the F were you doing with that woman? Oh, she must have been helping you carry food to the car so you could bring it home to feed your baby. I had just laid Monica on the bed when that fool grabbed me by my hair and started fighting me. Like I had done something wrong. Oh, it was on. He was strong as a bull, but I was giving him a run for his money. When my mother jumped in and got him off of me, that's when I grabbed the that's when I grabbed the iron and started swinging it to kill. I guess he figured this fool was crazy, so without saying anything, he left. I went to the bathroom to get myself together, and my little sister came in to see if I needed any help and if I was okay. Monica was crying, so my mother had picked the baby up and quieted her down. They stayed another couple of hours, keeping me company and not believing what had just happened. My mother wasn't too surprised. She had been through the dirt and the mud with my father, and had seen it all, she said. Dad was in the room with the baby, watching television, while Mama and I talked. She told me she couldn't tell me what to do. Whatever I did, she was behind me, but not to tolerate that shit that she had tolerated. We're fine, Mama. Y'all go home and we'll be okay. He won't come back here tonight. Get whatever you'll need for tomorrow and come on home, Mama told me. No, that's okay. I'll be over in the morning. I'll be ready around 9. After they left, I got ready for bed and got the pistol that he normally kept hidden. And I made sure it was loaded and laid it under the edge of the pillow next to me. If he wanted to start some shit, I'd be the one to finish the shit. I wasn't going to take no whippings and wasn't going to take a chance of him coming here trying to kill me. As I laid in the bed trying to relax, the doorbell rang. I asked who it was at the door. It was my mother. I opened the door. Marie, I'm not going to leave here unless you and Monica come with us. Now get whatever you need, take with you, Mama said. She convinced me, so I got some things together for the both of us, and off we went for the night. When we got home, my papa was watching TV. What's going on, baby? Papa asked. Me and Mike had an argument, so I came here for the night. You and the baby all right? He asked. Yeah, Papa, we're fine. I'll watch television with you for a little while. Let me put Monica down so she can get some rest, and I'll be right back. Mom had sat down on the sofa. Papa was looking at her with question in his eyes, like, what went on over there? Mama left it as I had told him. We've just had an argument. Papa knew it must have been a big argument for me to come home. I put the baby in the living room and then went to the kitchen. From the kitchen, I asked if anybody wanted or needed anything while I was in there. Papa and I had a cold beer, and Mama had a soda. While we watched TV, well, the baby and I finally went to bed in my old bedroom, and Taz squeezed in with me. The next afternoon, Alan came to talk to me, and of course asked what was the deal. I told him most of what had happened because I know how protective my brother is. Um, I knew if I told him everything, there'd be a lot of trouble between him and Mike. I didn't want any trouble, but Alan was good at reading people. He didn't tell me he was going to kick his ass. He said he was going to go and speak to Mike about what had happened. And he got up off the sofa. I grabbed his elbow and said, "Don't start any trouble with him. It's not worth it. I can handle it." Alan said, I'm just going to go and talk to him. Um, just want to see what's going on with this, what caused it, and can he straighten this out? And then he went out to get in his car to go and find Mike. Well, I knew he was going to tell Junie what happened between the two of them. This could become extremely ugly, and also because we have cousins who are always ready. We always believed in not getting involved in somebody else's affairs because you could end up being the outsider. The couple will probably get back together and they'll be mad at you for messing in their business. But I guess this was different. Having somebody running around, not providing for his family, and then going to fight me? I put some music on the hi-fi and went back into the kitchen. Me, Mama, Taz, Paula, and Aunt Kate were in the kitchen when Alan came in the back door. I could look at him and tell something had gone on. I didn't ask him anything. I just looked in his eyes with a question. Alan said he'd gone to talk to Mike. What happened? I asked. I asked the dude, what the hell's the problem over here? He said for me to mind my business. I stepped a little closer to him and said, "You fucking over my sister is my business." Like I said, what's the deal? He told me his side of the story, which sounded shady. Then I told him I didn't appreciate what went down and asked him would he be able to correct what's going on here. If not, to let Marie know. So then he pushed me aside and I swung on him. He threw a punch. Then the dude from the front house came running off the back porch to stop us, but we had already stopped. I didn't have any intentions of fighting, although I knew it might come to that, but something had to be done. I told him this is not a threat, this is a promise. That if he touched you again, I'd whip his ass for sure. Well, Marie, don't run back today. Take your time and think about things first, Aunt Kate told me. Aunt Kate was the most laid back person until you made her mad. If it had been her fighting with her husband, she'd have won the fight for sure. She would have laid his ass down like she had done on other occasions. Later that night, Mike came to see me at my parents'. He apologized and told me what had happened with him and Alan. He said he wasn't mad at him. He had to respect him for confronting him about the situation. Also, Junior came to see him at the gym about what had happened. He made it clear he wouldn't tolerate it either. I was sticking to myself in order for him to stay friendly with the rest of the men in the family. They shouldn't hear about this. So that night, I went back to our little house. I told Mike to go on. My mama would bring me home later. Junie came in from work and gave everybody a kiss. Papa came in about 10 minutes after him. The guys went in the den to relax for a while before dinner. I went on home later that night. Mama, Taz, and Aunt Kate dropped me off. Mike was there on the sofa, watching and sleeping over television. My allergies are so bad. I can barely see. Um, he was laying on the sofa watching television. Alan told me he came by here. I asked him not to, I told Mike. Yeah, he and Junie came by and promised to beat my ass or kill me if it happened again. Believe me, I'm not scared of them, but I was wrong. I can't be mad at you or them. I don't know where my head was at, Mike said. I apologize, but it doesn't begin to make up for what I've done. Just please try to give me a chance to make things right. I promise it won't happen again. He said, sounding so sad. Don't forget about Alan's going away party, I told him. I won't forget. Y'all need me to do anything? He asked. It's pretty much all taken care of. It's next Tuesday at 7, I reminded him. Alan. I was telling Junie that Trina had left Virginia this morning and how I really had a good time with her, and she had a great sense of humor. She had planned on going back to Virginia before being sent to her new post in Texas. This coming Friday, I was driving to Virginia to see Trina before she left for Texas. Yeah, coffee and cream. She was everything wrapped in one package. Trina and I had a good weekend together. She also introduced me to our grandparents. Late Sunday afternoon, I returned from visiting Trina. Time was going by too fast. I figured I should get a start on getting some things together to take with me when it was time for me to leave for basic training. This shit is scary. More than likely, I'll end up in Vietnam. I mean, literally in Vietnam, fighting for my country. Shit. More importantly, is that I'll be fighting for my life and my sanity. Man, my cousin Dave had already gone, and he was in North Carolina. Junie had come back from Nam last year. The Air Force didn't keep him because of a high school knee injury. His knee had been crushed playing in a basketball game, and the doctors rebuilt his knee. It was held together with pins, bolts, and screws. They said Junie would walk with a severe limp, but he fooled them. He regained full use of his leg and knee, continued being an athlete, and had no limp at all. The only good thing that might come out of this military thing, yeah, was Trina being in Texas, so I'd get to see her again. As the days passed by, I thought of something my father used to say to us when we were small. Sit over there and let me look at you for a while, he'd say. Now he and I were both looking at each other. Whether we're sitting around or moving about, I'd catch him watching me and vice versa. I'm going to miss my family, you know? We're really close. My mother's planning a going away party for me. I swear she's the best mom in the world. Oh, Marie. The evening of the party, people started coming early, which was good because there's always a few last minute things that you need to be done. Yeah, we put them to work. Everybody was having a good time. Plenty of dancing, hugging, laughing, eating, drinking, and reminiscing about every event that ever happened. Some even had written some poetry for my brothers going away. To be honest, before the night was over, there was quite a bit of tears running too. And yes, I was one of the teary faced people. This is something that we weren't able to avoid. I wasn't trying to hide it from anybody. I was scared as hell. Scared when Junie went to war, and so relieved when he came back to us. And very blessed that he came back in the same shape that he had gone in. Now my baby brother's going to Vietnam. All I can do is pray, and you can believe the Lord knows it's me because I'm always talking to him and asking him to help keep my brother safe. So, Alan, now, just like my high school graduation party, my going away party was a blast. There were a lot of people there. People came from out of state and seemed like half the county was at the party. It had come that time for me. I was about to leave for basic training. I had been keeping Trina posted on what was going on here so she'd know about when to expect me. I was praying, Lord, let me make it back home safe. My parents, Aunt Kate, and little sister were taking me to Newark Airport. That's where I had to meet the officer from the Air Force, along with the other draftees. So the day was actually here, and we headed to the airport. Taz was watching me like a hawk. She was taking in every move I made, making a mental note of every detail about me. I could see it in her little eyes and the yearning for me not to go. But I told her I had to go, but I would be back. She believed me, but it hurt me to see my little sister affected by what was going on and for her to actually understand what was going on. Well, so we're sitting around this one section where all the guys were to line up when this guy comes to put us on the plane. I met this cool white guy who was looking through his bags frantically to make sure he wasn't forgetting his straightening comb. I was like, what? He said, yeah, man, I have to use it to make this stuff lay down like this, you know? And he rubbed his hair. Finally, we had to line up to leave, and the family was crying, but I had to continue to be strong, or at least put on the strong face. We exchanged our hugs and kisses. Then I went to return back to my assigned group. They were lined up to board. At this point, I couldn't look back at my family now. I had to just go. I knew if I looked back, then I'd be a mess. By the time we actually arrived at the fort, it was the next day. The military won't take you directly to seem like where you're going. At least that's the impression that I'm getting. They have to take you everywhere else before you get to where you're really going. I don't know, maybe it's for security reasons. Anyway, it was hot as hell when we got here in Texas. And as soon as I got a chance, I had to write home. Next in my mind was to go and see Trina. And so my journey began. Training was hard, challenging, and kind of funny at the end of the day when it was over. The guys and I would sit back and laugh at some of the stupid things we had done all day or answer letters from our loved ones. I got quite a bit of mail from Aunt Kate, Junie, Marie, and Trina. Taz would add in a few words with Marie or Junie's letters. My parents didn't write me. They just added whatever they had to say also to the rest of my family's letters. I talked to them when I got to call home. As the weeks went by, I realized I may have changed some. It seems I seemed so serious or stern at times. I guess they called it being a soldier. Some some called it learning to be a killing machine. As for me, I called it doing what it takes to survive. And so we'll stop right there for now. And I thank you guys for stopping in. Again, I hope you have a very good and safe and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. Try to stay out of trouble And if you can't stay out of trouble, at least don't get caught. And again, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I will see you again soon. Peace.